Wheeler Lake, the third elite tournament of the year. You know, Wheeler Lake's tricky. I don't know that I've ever had a really great tournament there. And we showed up at a time where they're really in a phase of the spawn. It was pre-spawn, post-spawn, an actual spawning fish. Everything was happening at one time. Get to Wheeler, and I started on an area known as Decatur Flats, and I started out deep. Spent a whole day out there, really didn't get nothing going on. The second day I decided to try the main lake down by the dam. You know, focus in on a little bit clearer water. And I had a really good day, and I started what would end up being a top 10 pattern for me during the event. And just like Amistad, I tried to key in on points and bluffs right near where these fish were going to spawn. And the bluffs really started happening for me. You know, if you get to Wheeler Lake and you look, there's thousands of different bluffs. But again, listening to the fish, I really started figuring out that they were using bluffs that had a little lip in front of them. When you think about a bluff, you think about something that's straight up and down, 0 to 40 foot. Those bluffs really weren't any good. But the bluffs that had a little shelf on them, it would go down to about 6 or 8 feet, it would taper off like a step, and then it would go down into the main channel. Those bluffs with those little steps and points in front of spawning coves held a lot of fish, especially the pre-spawn and post-spawn fish. So the whole week I ended up fishing bluffs, and once again, the main bait for me during the week was an Ike's gripper jig by Berkeley. But not a big one, not a 3/4 ounce. I stepped down just a little bit and I went to the 1/2 ounce version. I fished it with a double tail grub trailer. And again, I was trying to mimic the real natural forage. If you think about rock and bluff, crawfish is a dominant forage there. So I end up throwing this thing and dragging it along those steps. And that's how I caught about 90% of my fish during the week. I caught largemouth, smallmouth, spotted bass, all mixed together. Once again, I fished the jig on a Team Iowa Mike Iaconelli signature rod. I fished it on 17-pound Berkeley trilene fluorocarbon. And the key to it, instead of stroking it like I normally do with a football head jig, the key was just to drag it, to really maintain bottom contact with that jig. Because it's got that flat head, it really keeps it out of the snags. I would drag it. Anytime I felt a little bit of a rough patch, I would shake it a little bit more, and that's when the fish would bite it. Another top 10 finish for me at Wheeler Lake, dragging the Berkeley jig. Awesome finish. If you haven't tried this jig, try it. Try it on Berkeley line, and you'll catch more fish.